Imagine stepping into the most prestigious magic academy in the realm, only to be publicly branded a failure because your magical core is completely, utterly hollow. But what if that empty space isn't a defect, but a blank canvas for a power the world hasn't seen in millennia? Welcome to Hollow Core, the first explosive installment of Vance Ryder's Flux Academy series. If you love the Underdog Academy trope, deeply crunchy magic systems, and the sheer, unadulterated satisfaction of watching a trash-tier student completely break the rules of the establishment, this audiobook will become your new absolute obsession. It is a masterclass in progression fantasy, blending high-stakes magical duels, relentless grinding, and the addictive thrill of turning your greatest weakness into your ultimate weapon. The narrative drops us into the hallowed, highly competitive halls of the Flux Academy, a place where the elite learn to manipulate flux, the fundamental, volatile energy of reality. Our protagonist arrives with high hopes, only to be crushed during the awakening ceremony when their core is measured as entirely empty. Stripped of status and relegated to the bottom of the social hierarchy, they are surrounded by arrogant nobles and innate geniuses who view them as dead weight. But the protagonist quickly discovers a hidden truth. A hollow core doesn't mean you can't hold flux. It means you can hold all of it, provided you can survive the agonizing process of forging a new foundation from scratch. The atmosphere is thick with the pressure of academic rivalry, the hum of raw magical energy, and the claustrophobic tension of a world that wants you to fail. At the core of the book's addictive appeal is its brilliantly logical and highly unique magic system. Vance Ryder treats flux manipulation not as a mystical art, but as a complex tactical science. While the elite students rely on their innate pre-filled cores to cast standard spells, our protagonist must use the vacuum of their hollow core to draw in ambient energy, refine it under immense pressure, and weaponize it in highly unorthodox ways. Watching the protagonist experiment with energy cycling, discover hidden affinities, and unlock terrifying new skill trees through sheer bloody-minded grit is incredibly satisfying. The LitRPG and progression elements are front and center, making every hard-earned stat boost and every newly forged skill feel like a massive dopamine-fueled victory. But beyond the stats and the spellcraft, the soul of Hollow Core lies in its characters and the gritty reality of academy life. The protagonist isn't alone. They quickly assemble a beautifully dysfunctional found family of fellow misfits, outcasts, and late-night training partners. The banter in the dorms and the quiet moments of shared exhaustion after a brutal sparring session provide a perfect emotional anchor. And of course, there are the rivals, arrogant, privileged elites who rely on their family's legacy rather than hard work, making their eventual spectacular humbling at the hands of the hollow student incredibly cathartic. As the plot accelerates towards its climax, the pacing becomes utterly breathless. The first major academy trial, a lethal, monster-filled dungeon crawl, forces the protagonist to step out of the shadows. Stripped of their safety nets, they must use their unorthodox hollow core techniques to survive against high-tier beasts and the sabotage of their rivals. The combat sequences are cinematic, tactical, and incredibly hype. The finale is a spectacular display of magical ingenuity and raw power, delivering a massive payoff that shocks the professors, silences the bullies, and proves that the hollow core is anything but empty. Hollow Core is a triumph of the Academy progression fantasy genre. It is smart, action-packed and unapologetically addictive. Vance Ryder has crafted a debut that perfectly captures the thrill of the underdog rising to the top. Plug in your headphones, open your core, and join the Flux Academy. The elites thought they were looking at a failure, but they're about to learn a very painful lesson.